Slow Brewing Company, better known as Slow Brew, was established in 1988 in San Luis Obispo, California. Over time, and due to increased popularity, Slow Brew opened two new locations in San Luis Obispo in the past couple years. One in downtown San Luis Obispo, and the other focused on production, called The Rock. The Rock began canning in December 2016, and due to increased demand worldwide, has increased production exponentially. Our team met with Steve Currier, the head brewer, earlier this quarter to talk about problems that Slow Brew is having. He was very persistent on one specific problem, which is an inefficiency within the canning line. Over the quarter, we have determined that Slow Brew is experiencing issues in the process of canning beer, which affects the quality and shelf life of the product.
Through our research, we have identified that oxygen introduced during the canning process is the biggest contributor to decreased shelf life and product quality at Slow Brew. As the beer ages, it consumes the existing oxygen in the environment. Oxygen can cause beer to decrease in quality by giving it off flavors, colors, and other undesirable characteristics. The two metrics used to measure oxygen are dissolved oxygen, or DO, and total packaged oxygen, TPO. DO is the amount of oxygen that exists in the liquid, and the TPO is the sum of the DO and the oxygen packaged in the headspace of the can. A brewer's goal is to get the TPO as close to zero as possible. This would ideally increase the quality and shelf life of the beer. Today, TPO levels in breweries with good oxygen control are below 100 parts per billion in cans.
At Slow Brew, the brewers keep track of the DO levels at each stage of the brewing process, with the end goal being to have a DO of less than 30 parts per billion by the time the beer reaches its final destination, being packaged in cans. Each beer type will have a different DO level inherently based on its ingredients and the brewing processes used. When DO is measured in each batch before it enters the canning line, levels are usually right where the brewers want them, less than 30 parts per billion. These are shown in the blue markings on the graph. During canning runs, cans are sampled each hour and their DO is recorded. The orange line shows the average of all the hourly samples taken over the course of an entire run. As you can see, there is usually an increase in DO due to the beer entering the packaging line. Some runs perform better than others, but unfortunately there is no other data kept to indicate why these increases occur. TPO measurements are much more inconsistent, and there is currently no standard procedure for when to sample these numbers during packaging. This data was collected sporadically over the course of January throughout different packaging runs. As you can see, the numbers are erratic, ranging from 200 to nearly 1,600 parts per billion, with the industry standard being closer to 100 parts per billion. This illustrates a huge problem at Slow Brew's packaging line. Our goal is to help collect this data more accurately and be able to control these numbers. Cans enter the packaging machine and are sprayed with CO2 from the orange nozzles to displace any oxygen in the cans. Cans then enter the filler, where individual fill heads will descend onto the can and seal it, spray CO2 to displace oxygen again, and then fill the can with beer. The cans then move to the bubble breaker, which sprays CO2 onto the liquid to help break up any air bubbles and then cause foaming in the beer. The can is then moved to the litter, where the lid is pressed down onto the top and then sealed on. It is common practice to cap onto foam because doing that helps eliminate oxygen entering the product. Our group will perform an experiment to test the effects of these factors on DO and TPO and use those findings to create a quality control plan for Slow Brew.
This is a map of Slow Brew's distribution worldwide. As you can see, they are currently shipping to Australia as well as Puerto Rico. After speaking with the sales team at Slow Brew, we learned that Slow Brew cans are removed from the shelf after a period of 100 days. We estimate that 5 to 10% of cans are not purchased by customers and being pulled from the shelf. This totals to an estimated loss of $100,000 per year. We hope to lower this loss to less than 1% of cans removed from shelves after completion of our project.